Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is your boy Mac, and today we're going to be giving a review of US Express slash Variant slash Night slash Swift. Now, I did the OTR division known as Variant. I did that division, so I'm going to be giving my perspective on that now. It's different from the regional, from the dedicated, and I work east of I-35, so my perspective could be different from the people working on the West Coast. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start off with what people value most, and that is home time in the trucking industry. Might be the number one reason people leave the industry is home time. So a lot of people leave because home time, as far as industry standard, US Xpress is definitely a pretty good company as far as that goes. They give 12 days. You have to run for 12 days minimum, and you get 2 days off. And each additional days you work, each additional 6 days that you work, you get a day off. So if you work 12 days, you get 2 days off. You work 18, you get 3. You work 24, you get 4, so on and so forth. I believe the max days you can get off is 7. I think you can work with your dispatcher. It depends on your dispatcher. I ain't gonna lie. My dispatchers were dope. And so I had 2 during the time I worked there. They were both dope, and they worked with me and they helped me out. I was gone for like 10 days, and I had to return the truck after 7 days. They don't want the truck sitting idly for 7 days or more. And so I had to return the truck, take all my stuff out, return. And when I returned, the truck that I gave up and took all my stuff out, it was just sitting there. So I don't know what that's about, but that was a waste of my time. Anyway, we ain't gonna really go into that. So let's continue on. Pay, for a new driver, that got your CDL through them. I think they start you off at like 45 cents. The pay maximum is 60 cents per mile. So if you're looking to get more money added to that, then you are out of luck, my friend. That is the main reason why I left the company. They told me, I talked to them about raise and more money. They said, no, we cap out at 60. Work here 20 years, you're going to get paid the same thing, brother. So that was my main reason for leaving. I did not like the fact that the pay is capped out like that. I think that if you work longer, longevity, you should be rewarded, but it's 2025. And with all these mass layoffs, obviously, that's no longer a thing of the future. So anyway, per diem is huge factor. Over 24, I think it was like 24 cents per mile. I was making per diem out of 60 cents per mile. So add that up. That is absolutely huge. Definitely 10 out of 10. Best in the industry as far as that goes. So if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to buy a car, trying to buy a real estate property, then this will not be good for you. But if you're just trying to stack money, save, get this tax-free dinero, then that is definitely a positive for you like me. That's definitely huge. Like I said, best in the industry. So you might be working for them like, oh, they only pay 60 cents per mile. This other company pays 64 cents per mile, but they don't have per diem. So, but I'm not trying to buy a house now. I'm trying to work for 5 years before I buy a house. Well, obviously, US Express will probably be the better choice for you, because with all the per diem you save with taxes, well, that's going to add up compared to the company where you're not getting no per diem at all. So that's the thing to consider. I haven't seen many people talk or describe this or talk about this when it comes to finding a job. No one really talks about per diem, but that is definitely a green flag. That's probably the best thing US Express has got going for itself. 24 cents per mile out of like the 60 you get tax free, and that is huge, son. So you could not make that many miles per week, and still, like, a lot of times I didn't work that many miles per week, like maybe 2,000, but I still was able to get like $1,000 after well, net, because the per diem rate was so good. So that's something you got to take in consideration. Yeah, dig, especially if you got like other things that you got to consider. But anyway, like I said, per diem was absolutely excellent. What else we got over here? There's no guaranteed pay here, so the miles you run is what you get. Detention pay, you get $14 after 2 hours. Layover pay, you get $100 after 24 hours. But if you got a cool, cold, smooth dispatcher. They'll work with you. I'll be like, oh man, I've been out here for 18 hours, man. Ain't nothing happening. They might work with you to get you that money. Now that depends on where you are. A lot of drivers I talked to from other terminals said their dispatchers suck. Okay, but I'm from the Duncan, South Carolina terminal, and they had excellent dispatchers. Absolutely excellent. No problems with them at all. So that's a factor that you have to consider. People talk about, oh, home time is why people quit the trucking company. People talk about pay is why they quit trucking companies. But they don't talk enough about the dispatcher and the relationship. Sure, you might be able to switch to a different dispatcher, but if they're all terrible, then that's what you're going to get. Okay? A lot of truckers, like me, we did not like working with people. We try to escape that. We try to go, like before this, I was doing FedEx, delivering packages. I got tired of working with people. That's why I got into FedEx. A lot of people with the bad attitudes and bad habits, I ain't trying to be around that. That's why I went to FedEx. Basically said I want a little bit more money, went into trucking. But if you got a bad dispatcher, then they could ruin your experience like if you were working with a terrible person. Well, not as bad because you're not really seeing them, but still, it will definitely affect your mood, and that's something you got to consider as well. All right, let's move on to mileage. Mileage, I average around 2,000, 2,200 miles per week. Not very good. I mean, well, I guess it's industry standard with dry van. Dry van is like the lowest of the low, so you can't really demand too much when everybody is in dry van. Anybody can get in the dry van. So yeah, that just is what it is. And so, like I said though, that per diem adds up. You might not get the miles, but the tax free money, it adds up. All right. Um, Over the weekend can be kind of slow if you ain't got a load that needs a live load, live unload. If you got the Walmarts are the absolute best loads you can get working at US Xpress. They give roughly around 600 to 800 miles, or could be more than that, but I think that was the average. And so that's pretty good. You can deliver on a Sunday, not worry about nothing, and be on with your day. But if you're over there in the Northeast in that Pennsylvania area, then you are stuck, my friend. Stuck over the weekend, and you just don't have to chill out. That brings me to my next point. This job is not for hard runners. If you're somebody who needs to make as much money as possible, this is not the company for you, my friend. This is not. This is for people that want to chill, like work hard this day, and the next day they kind of chilling. They're trying to watch this and binge this Netflix series. Well, they got time to do that. That's this job. It's not a run hard every day. I only had 3,000 miles one time when I worked here, and I worked here for like what, 1.5 years or so. So, yeah, only hit 3K one time. That's something you got to consider. Let's move on. All right, what we got here? Dropping hooks. I'd say it's like 50%. They say it's more than that, but me, no, I didn't get no 50. I got like it says like what, like 70 or something. No, I got 50% dropping hook. A lot of live loads. Um, I'm working reefer now, and it's about the same about wait time. It's about the same. I'm gonna just keep it real. It's not all fast. Some are very slow. Some in the Northeast very slow, but the dropping hooks are absolutely excellent. Let's move it along. We got equipment. The trailers are pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie. I talked to one guy who I had to call. I was kind of green, and I didn't know that your tandems, you can drive the trailer around because the trailer been sitting too much. Drive a trailer around so the tandems could move. So I tried to, adjust them, and it didn't really work out. But you got to drive around so they can loosen up because they've been sitting for too long. Anyway, I called this guy. He told me that 60% of his income is from US Xpress. He told me the trailers are in terrible condition. He said if they only greased them up and maintained them a little bit more, then they wouldn't have no problems. But that was the main issue with US Xpress. The trailers can be in bad conditions. I remember I was at Campbell's Soup, and they had a trailer with the air system in the back of the trailer and in the tandems. That thing was hanging off. It was hanging off. I had to get it welded before I could continue. I had to get it welded on because that's how bad it was. Not all of them are like that, but yeah, that's what it is. As far as trucks, we got mostly Freightliners. Mostly Freightliners. There's a few diamonds in the rough Pete's, and then we have trying to be all with the new Shield logo. The newer trucks, they got the Knight and Swift Shield logo. Those are the new Volvos, and so I haven't driven it. I don't know, I've never had bad experience with Volvos, but I didn't drive one long either. So I mostly driven shake liners, and I do not like shake liners, man. When you're trying to back up and that thing jerking you all around, jerking you, I'm like, man, what the? Trying to back up and you just shaking violently. Like, what the? You be looking at, man, you be looking at, I know people looked at me like, what the heck is going on? Why is the truck shaking so much? The truck was twerking and it was absolutely horrible. I do not recommend shake liners. That was a horrible experience I had. As far as speed goes, truck goes 65 on the pedal, 68 on cruise. Pass mark also goes 68. So if you're using your active cruise, you're going to slow down if you get too close. So you double tap that gas pedal accelerator, hold it down. You can do your 68. Pass mark lights up light blue, and go ahead and pass that driver that's slowing you down. All right, let's continue on. Energy, electronics. We got APUs and inverters for the gray trucks. I think that red trucks, regional dedicated, don't have those. So I would recommend just getting a mini AC anyway, even if you do have an APU, because things don't keep the truck cool when it's too hot. You're gonna need an extra source of AC to keep cool. So I recommend that. Truck turns off too. So I don't know if the red trucks turn off. Trucks turn off like after 3 minutes. So I don't know if the red trucks turn off. If they do, then yeah, you're gonna have some problems if you don't have no air conditioner, or portable air conditioner or something. Okay, keys are truck specific. I got locked out of my truck like 2 times, and man, asking for another US Xpress variant driver's key is useless. It's not gonna work. Key is not gonna work. It's just not. I asked for the Love's maintenance team's keys. Had a bunch of Freightliner keys. None of them work. They are truck specific. You're gonna have to get a lockout key, or you're gonna have to call breakdown. I had to call. I did both. I called a lockdown. I called the lockout kit. Bought the lockout kit. I was having a lot of trouble, and so I just called breakdown. And he took like 20 minutes to open the door too. So I don't feel that bad that I struggle. If maintenance guy comes out and he takes 20 minutes to open the door, then I don't feel that bad. So, but yeah, they're truck specific. Make sure you put a key under the engine, tie it under the hood somewhere, secretive. That's why I wear this lanyard at all times, because I'm not trying to get locked out again, ever again. That sucks. I remember one time I arrived at a receiver, went in to give him my paperwork, came back, locked myself out. Absolutely horrible, and I felt like an idiot. So yeah. Cameras in the truck. Yeah, we got cameras in the truck. But remember, Swift had that lawsuit. Cameras don't work. So even though there's a camera facing you in the truck, these cameras do not roll, don't run, and because they had that lawsuit, and they don't work. So no need to worry about that if you're not cool with cameras, which I'm not. Let's see what else we got here. Dispatch, I was in the Duncan Terminal, South Carolina. They are absolutely amazing. Other people from other dispatchers said they suck. So yeah, I mean, I guess I got lucky. If I had a terrible dispatcher, I would have left uh, a while ago and not been here because dispatchers are crucial to having a good environment. What else we got here? Um, they started doing a bonus before I left, and at first they were giving me like $200 extra a month, and then they were not paying me, even though I was staying out longer, did everything I needed to do, and I don't know. I guess they were like taking the bonus from me or stealing the bonus or whatever, but that was not cool at all. I did not like that. So yeah, I don't know how that was kind of janky. I did not like that at all. They started paying it, and then they're like, "Nah, we ain't gonna give you." Called people, payroll, and whatever safety, talking about the bonus, and they're like, "Ah." They're like, "Oh, you only earned 70 cents. You only earned 70 cents this month." Like it was like, man, that was a reason I left. One of the reasons I left too, but that was some BS. But overall, my review for US Express, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 because of dispatch, honestly. If the dispatch wasn't so good in my area, probably would be a 2.5 because dispatch was so good. And I wasn't really trying to run hard, or I just was thinking a lot and doing other things. So I wasn't really trying to run 3,000 miles or nothing like that. So if you're not trying to run hard or desperate for money, and you're just trying to, get experience and kind of chill, kind of lay back, this is definitely a spot for you. If you're trying to run hard, 3,000 a week, definitely not the spot for you. If you're trying to buy a house, definitely not the spot for you because the per diem will make you seem like you are like broke. You could earn 60K, which is, I think I earned around that, but I did take a lot of time off during that year. I earned like 55K, but I had like 24K per diem. So that's $24,000 not taxed. That's huge. You know, that's all I got to say about that. I would recommend it for new drivers. Absolutely, they're pretty good there. But like I said, I'm from Duncan, South Carolina. So if you go to another terminal and it's absolutely your dispatchers are absolutely horrible, don't blame me. I want Duncan people at Duncan are pretty cool. I don't know if it's the same crew there. So also, if you go there and the crew changed up, don't blame me with that either. But overall, definitely for new drivers. But if you're trying to make more money, stack more bread, you know, you go from one mega to another mega, then I would not recommend it. You know, I would not recommend it at all. Go with a smaller fleet, smaller company. But the thing about that is these beggars are eating them up with their lower rates. So choose wisely, my friend. Okay? Adios. Peace.